All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 231. They changed the YouTube UI, the streaming UI, so actually I could probably move that. I don't like these new UI changes. So what I used to do is the window that's like up here on the side, like I like to know what is the running total of chat revenue or the number of likes and the settings and what the day number is. And to get that, what I used to have before is I had a window added in OBS. There was the actual stream window. There was like a dedicated place for that. But they moved it. And now when I go live, it switches to analytics by default. It just switches the tab. So I can manually switch it back. But I guess I should really look into, like there's all kinds of, overlays and stuff. I think probably things you can like import into OBS, but I have way too many other things to work on. I've not had time to research a better streaming setup. Regardless, we will continue. So today there is no updates on any of these items, which is great. 'Cause today I did more videoing and recording and editing. There's a video coming out tomorrow, so I got some new content. And I guess today we'll continue with some changes to fix a couple of bugs. So I made recent changes to make the player object an actual block in the world. And that's a problem because the function to mine things, what it actually does is it sends a write request. Oh yeah, it's probably because it's already deleted. So it's actually, when I mine something, it's deleting the player out of the world, and then that makes it crash. Ideally, when you press mining to mine something, it should send a command to the server. And it really needs the whole client server model to be finished, but that's going to be a bit of work. So today my goal will be just to get mining and placing blocks fixed. me think. What is the simplest solution? Game awards tonight. Taking a break from it. How am I? I'm pretty good. Today was a day very much like other days. Which is good. No news is good news. You mentioned Game Awards. That's like video game awards? Being streamed in many places. Being streamed in many places. I don't know what ghost entity is hosting it. I nominate Terminal Block Mining Simulation Game for the best 2025 terminal-based game. Oh wow. I'm incredibly honored. This is, I've been waiting for this moment for years. Okay, this might totally fix the problem. I'll get rid of the crashes, although the writing, the actual placing will have to be updated. Let's try that. What is the temperature? The temperature is 1. Thank you for asking. All right, it didn't crash, which is good. Now, will it? Uh-oh. I got race conditions. I kind of thought that would happen. That is going to happen if I have different priorities for moving and for mining. They might have been the same priority. To begin with, so maybe there's another race condition. I'll just put them all low for now. Silver, where did that come from? That's going to be a big problem. I was thinking I could just rely on the order in which these events are sent out. Yeah, I guess there's like race conditions. Because then it has to send messages to the map area, and then that sends messages back with the player position. And if the client has wrong information about the player position, it will overwrite the player position when it's doing the mining. That would be a fixed if I had all the like eventual consistency transaction stuff implemented, because then it would just go back to the client and the client would roll back. But because that's not in there yet, this is going to be an issue. Yeah, I guess that's a bad bug, because it's gonna, not only does it crash, but it is also gonna like corrupt the world, because that means your player character is like, doesn't exist anymore. Thank you for meditating with the Dwarf Kingdom. I leave once more. I can maybe make sense of the first statement, so no problem. You say you leave once more. I'm not sure what that means in this context. Well, let me commit that, because that kind of fixes something. I guess if I just mine slowly, it'll still work. I guess I was thinking about changing the order of how things work. There's kind of like a whole bunch of different things I need to orchestrate to get this actually working with multiplayer. I think the way I'm going to actually implement stuff on the server is I'm going to have effectively be like basically just like client threads. Well, actually, there's several different things to do there. One of them was, I think I'm going to need to have a what I was doing up until now is the client would actually figure out which blocks in the world are written and changed. I think we'd have to change that to be there's just a set of commands that the client sends to the server. That's the only way to really do the strong validation on the server. So if you want the server to do any kind of complicated validation of whether you can move to a place or whether you can craft something or should be some amount of client speculation for instant user feedback. Otherwise, it'll feel stuttery. Bad to move around. Yeah. So here's the thought process I've been thinking around. I don't know if this is it's possible this will turn out to be a terrible design, but I'll probably go with it anyway, just to keep the theme of everything around blocks. There'll be, so in the block, so I want to keep the number of message types very small, so that way designing new clients would be easy, because there's not so there's the probe regions, which is read, write, subscribe. I don't know, I guess that's read and subscribe, and then describe regions is a write request basically. So it's either a write or the result of it's just saying here's what the regions look like, and you can write that into your local model if you want. Error, acknowledgement, and then there's the authorized command. I'm going to try to keep that just for starting and provisioning. So requesting a dictionary that just has where in the world are the pointers to your important whatever, your player, internal player information and stuff. I think I am going to implement a circular buffer. So the write operation, So up around that that region of the world, it's like at 999. Basically, I'm kind of just implementing. I'm just treating the records in the database almost like records in RAM. I'm just treating it as like an infinite set of RAM. So I will implement a circular buffer up in that like super high region 9999 or something. And the local client, it will, when you do stuff locally, it will create I guess like a command block or whatever. It'll be just like an object that represents what applying that command. That command will, for example, player move up, player move up by 1. That's the command. That command will get applied locally, and all of the command objects will have a do and an undo. So it will do whatever that command is in the local client model, so that happens instantaneously. And then it also sends that same thing, it writes that in the circular buffer for that player. And then on the server will have a background thread that all that thread does is it just reads. So it's like another thread that just subscribes to that region of the world, and whenever something's being written to it, it will process that command in the server model. So it'll actually move forward. It'll move forward the position of the player in the world. Yeah, so the command will either succeed or fail, and if it succeeds or fails, if it fails, on a failure, the client will get notified of it, and then so it just rolls back whatever that action was. And as long as there's just like I will have to maintain a stack of like uncommitted transactions. So you would like I might just press like up like 20 times, and then just you'd see the player move up a bunch, and then let's see, it'd be nice to. I should also have a UI for this. This is so much work to develop, but this wouldn't be just for movement. This would be the general model for every single operation on the client and the server. I was thinking about maybe doing that later, but I may have to do that first before I, if the player itself is a block in the world. I might be able to make it less complicated. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'll just keep grinding away, do my hour at a time, and eventually I'll run out of things that need to be fixed. But yeah, you would you would press up like a bunch of times, and then you would see you see like a stack of like uncommitted let's see. guess the so the originally I added the model I was going to go with was called the eventual consistency, and I was going to start adding. So once I had a tick number, I was going to make the, I think it's last modified. Last modified was going to be the tick number. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there might be I might have a logical issue. Yeah, getting server-side stuff to work is going to make it a lot more complicated. The idea with eventual consistency would be excluded and last modified. I forget what that means. I think I'm sending that back to last modified. Yeah, so the idea is the client, for every block, the client knows the last time that was modified. So when you do an update to something with eventual consistency, you say, I want to update, like basically this, I want to update this block, but we're assuming that it's it's this block in the last modified state with this value. And then you would do the update, and if there's no I guess this is doing both. I may have to change my. It also requires careful query creation, but the idea is you just say update this record where last modified is equal to 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, because you know when it was last modified. And if you say, when you have the where conditioning and you're trying to do that update, if it has changed since you did that update, then there are 0 updates that apply, and then you detect that you did not change anything. So that's an eventual consistency failure. So that then you cycle that back to the client and say, actually, you tried to do this update, but you're working on out of date information. So then you have to roll back to let the client will say, oh, okay, I need to wait for new information. Tons of opportunity for bugs and problems, and but that's what's required to build it. Actually, I'm not sure how it's like, how professional games do it. I would imagine there's like some insane I don't know, maybe I should read more on it. I have looked into it a few times. A lot of the stuff is like the literature is pretty general. How's the channel monetization going? Going to move to more long-form video content and shorter live meet and greets? Recently I've been doing, I reduced the live streams to 1 hour or so. I've been working on, I have another video I'm working on that's taking quite a bit of time. So I'm going to try to finish that. I have another video coming out tomorrow. The channel monetization is confusing. It's hard for me to tell what are the things that I do that actually make the monetization go up. I didn't want to hurt my monetization eligibility, so I turned monetization off for the live streams because they basically make no ad revenue. Most of it early on was super chat and membership revenue. And then that seemed to hurt monetization. So I turned monetization on. They actually added a new feature called the ads, or like automatic monetization, so I don't have to pledge that it doesn't contain, inappropriate content or whatever. I just let it figure it out. So last month, the revenue was way up, but this month revenue is it's on track to be quite down. But that's maybe also because I haven't released a video in a bit, but I'm releasing a video tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. It's very difficult. I don't know. It almost seems like there's no rhyme or reason to how many views things get and how much money stuff makes. As soon as I think I figured out the algorithm, it changes. I set up the Shopify store and I got a couple of sales initially, but there's no sales now. I can understand the products are not, I only got a few products. They're not that great, but I have sold like $7,000 worth of those products on Kickstarter back in the day. I would have figured now that I have like 100,000 subscribers I'd get more, but guess not. I was going to work on trying to rearrange some of the threads, but I'd like it to be in working state. Right now, if you're trying to use it, you're going to hit that bug that crashes it and breaks the world until I fix that race condition. I guess I'm doing these without a transaction. I remember back months ago I spent so much time working on this trying to make it faster. I guess as the first step I could just start sending those like command. I could start the circular buffer to write those commands onto the server and have the thread that processes them, and then I just won't have the support for doing the local transactions in the client. So that'll make it lag a lot, but that's fine for now, because it's strictly more difficult to do those because ultimately I have to do the changes to the game model on the client and the server. And doing them on the client is only necessary to just make it feel smooth and responsive. But functionally, if it happens on the server, then the server will propagate the updates. So that's going to need in here I'm going to have to launch a thread. And that thread is going to be like the player command processor thread. Now to implement that, I want those worker threads to connect to the server, just like a regular client would. So many circular dependencies. So I think maybe I'll keep it broken for a while. And I'll work on trying to actually generalize the... I'll get to the point where I can create a client, multiple clients. So this will have to be changed. BrainCat7204 says hello. How's it going? Yes, good now to return to the void. I think you said that yesterday, but I don't know what that means. Oops. Is this the void? So I think one way to initially make progress, I need to change some of these threads, like standard input reader. Currently has a dependency on client block model context, which I think can be removed. Hey, that works. So I guess what I'll have to do is when I create a frame, some of these frames are going to need an associated client. Some of them, like the help menu, won't actually require a client. I guess even the empty frame. So I guess ideally what I'll do is this thread, this thread, this thread, and this thread, and this thread are all going to be extracted from here. They won't be in this init method of the client block model context. They'll be added and started before. I guess this will also, yeah, lots of stuff to disentangle. This thing won't. To pull this out, this needs to have some way of generically subscribing to this thread. How to make a CPU? Oh, that's easy. First, get a rock. Then, smash the rock. Now, you've got 98% concentrated silicon dioxide. Now, purified to 99.999999% silicon dioxide. And then there's some other steps too. Well, let's see. Right, this still works. I guess next stream I will continue work on disentangling things. All right, yeah, I guess I'll leave it there for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night for day. Oh, so no, it doesn't even show now. I gotta figure out a better UI solution. Day 232, I think. All right, have a good night. We'll be back tomorrow. And then once I get the next video out, then I don't know if I'll have some more time to actually work on this, do more interesting streams. All right, have a good night.